We have the basics out of the way. Let's move on to some principles that will help you become a better director. The first one we want to look at is assessing the situation. First, it is important to realize your abilities and your limitations. You need to ask yourself the following questions. Who can help me? What kind of talent do I have to work with? Where is the play I am to direct to be presented? When am I supposed to have the production ready? How much money do I have to work with? Why have I decided or have been asked to present this play or production? To whom is the play or production going to be presented? Now, these questions will give you a good foundation to begin building the production upon. For example, performing in a space that's 10 feet by 10 feet limits you more than a space that's 50 feet by 40 feet. Also, budget and time will direct your efforts as well. Now, there's an assessment checklist that we want you to follow. This will help you have a little more guidelines in getting things ready for your show. First question you need to ask yourself, how many people can I expect to audition for the play? You need to know how many roles to prepare for. Number 2, what might be the ratio of men to women? Number 3, do I have competent help in the following areas? If you're going to use these, you want to make sure you have people that know what they're doing to help you out with here. Set design, set construction, lighting, costuming, makeup, and sound. Now, number 4, how do I assess the space while I present the play? How large is the stage? How large is the backstage area? How well equipped is the theater or church? Is there good lighting or good sound? How large is the auditorium? How are the acoustics in the room? How often can I use the stage for rehearsal? These are important questions that you need to find out before you can begin moving into production of the play. Now, number 5, how long do I have to rehearse for the play? What kind of conflicts can I anticipate? How much money do I have to work with? Do I have assistants for the following positions? If you need them, make sure you have good help. It's good to surround yourself with people that can help you out because you're going to be under so much stress and so much pressure. It's good to delegate some responsibilities every once in a while. So make sure you have a competent stage manager or a production coordinator. Now, do you have enough volunteers to work backstage? Again, good to have people around you so you can delegate and have people doing jobs that you can concentrate on other things for. Like a good stage crew, prop crew, a light board operator, soundboard operator, wardrobe and makeup. As much as you like to think you can be everywhere at the same time, you can't. So you've got to delegate and have people help you out in those areas. Number 10, do I have enough volunteers to handle publicity and front of house operations? You know, you want people to handle a publicity crew, to work the box office, a house manager, ticket takers and ushers, a volunteer to work in sessions or other miscellaneous jobs like handing out flyers in the community or printing tickets or helping you design, things like that. Because you've got to know exactly what you can do and what you can't do. And those you can't do, assign those off and say, you know, go ahead and take this project. And it gives people a chance to rise up in leadership and it helps your overall production value. Now, the next area we want to look at is script analysis. Also, it's important for the director to analyze the script. This means that the director must go beyond the written words to better understand the plot, subplot, motivations, characters, and the author's intent. Usually, this requires reading the script several times and possibly doing outside research on the topic or the author. Check into the title, check into characters' names, and the functions of the characters. Often the name, occupation, and age of the characters can give insight to the play. When reading or analyzing the play, reread the long speeches. Often they offer important clues to both character and meaning. Also, consider the playwright's intent. Sometimes the playwright's only intent is to entertain. On other occasions, the intent may be to inform or to enlighten or even urge people into response or action. Now, here's the next area that's vital to working with people on stage. You're going to be working with actors, obviously. And I've seen a lot of times where there's a breakdown between communication between the actor and the director. And hopefully we can clear up a few areas to where you can have a better communication process with your actors. It's important to remember that fear is the enemy of creativity, which in turn means that it's important for the director to have great self-control. The greatest fear that the actor can have is that he will fail in his part. I mean, there's been countless times where I can remember myself of just stepping on stage and my biggest fear has been failure or making a fool out of myself in front of somebody. But my directors have always come to me and say, you know, you're doing a good job, keep going on, and that's helped me get over that fear. You need to be that kind of director. Remember that failure is a threshold of knowledge and often where we learn the most. Remind them of this. If an actor feels failure, his creativity will be impaired and he will not grow. They have to feel comfortable enough in you and the overall production and their own talents that they can make the mistakes they need to make in order to grow. I tell my team all the time, if you're going to make a mistake, make a big mistake. Don't make basic mistakes, but try to do something new. Be creative, be confident, step on stage and do something great. Have your actors do this. Give them the confidence and believe in them that they can accomplish these things. The fastest way to get over this is by gratuitous praise. In other words, praise whatever is there. Whatever's there is praiseworthy. Find something, find anything. Tell them that, they're speaking well. Anything that they need to hear to get them over that hump of fear. Tell them that they walk good. Find something that will make them feel good about their performance. Also, beginning the rehearsal with praise will start off the positive thinking each time. Now, a good rule of thumb is this something I try to do in my own life and my own productions, is praise in public but criticize in private. Never berate or tear down an actor in front of the other actors. If you have major conflict, if you have major problems with them, pull them aside separately and say, this is what we need to work on. How can we get this better? Put it in the form of questions so you can lead them so they think they are coming up with the answer to make the things better. But in front of them, praise them. Find something good. Find something positive and say, hey, Bill, you're doing a great job here. I love the way you have the energy at the beginning of the second scene. Whatever you can find something to praise them because it's very important. Start off each rehearsal with praise. It's very important. And make the actors feel confident that they're doing a good job because they're looking to you for guidance. And if you're not giving it to them, then they're not going to be able to accomplish it, okay? So make sure you do that. Now, here's an interesting area that a lot of people have different discussions about, the battle between actor and director. And I just touched on a little bit. If you have a problem with an actor who is not really wanting to do something and doesn't feel like they need to do something, some people say, forget about the actor, it's the director's vision, do what you need to do. I come from the school of thought is maybe yield a little bit to the actor. For example, if an actor refuses to wear something, then come up with an alternative. This pushes the director's creativity. Another key to communicating is questions. We just talked about this. However, the director should circle the question and have the actor answer the question himself. Lead the question to the actor. Say, Bill, what do you think you should wear? You tell me what you should wear. Don't say it in a sarcastic or berating tone, but ask the actor what they think, because a lot of times they'll come up with something that maybe you're not thinking about, and this, like I said, will cause your creativity to be pushed. The answer to the question is within the question, and the actor will find his own solution. Now, also remember that there is never a challenge but an opportunity. By inviting discussion in the form of question, you can seize hold of the opportunity. A skilled director uses questions like, what could we do to improve this? How could we simplify this? How could we clarify this? A skilled director also allows the actors to discover line delivery with just a little side coaching. In other words, don't tell or show the actors how to say the line, because then they won't be able to feel free in their own creativity, and they'll just be mimicking you and not really acting. So let them discover this in their own process. Now, if there's a certain way you want a line delivered, again, go back to the questions and ask a question that will lead the actor to get to the place that you want them to be at. Don't put yourself in a position and say, let me show you how. They're actors, they're growing, they're learning. Now, you may have an interpretation, they may have an interpretation. Find a middle ground for the role. If an actor has a problem with the part, it is important to address it immediately. Don't just let it sit there. It may stall rehearsals and eventually cause the actor to withdraw emotionally or entirely from the show. Remember, you are the leader. You be the professional. You be the one who has the standards raised. You set the bar for how everybody follows you. Don't apologize for your work. Start rehearsals on time and respect your actors. Now, you've analyzed your script, you've asked yourself the questions of production, pre-production, now you're ready to begin blocking. The 3 basic steps to blocking. The first phase is preparation. Preparation is important because you don't want to go into rehearsal blind. You are in control, you are in charge. If your actors see you not in control, not in charge, not knowing what you're doing, they're not going to respect you as much. So make sure you know what you're talking about before you go into rehearsal. I know a lot of professional directors that will spend years preparing for a production, 3 or 4 years studying the role, studying the show, studying the set, so they know every detail. So when they walk into rehearsal, any question an actor asks, the director can answer. You need to get to that level, maybe not 3 years production, but spend some time preparing for your roles. You've got to devote at least a few hours of pre-blocking before your first blocking rehearsal. Figure out what you want to do and how you're going to move it. Once the set design has been established, you can begin plotting scene by scene. Use your imagination and place yourself in the world of your play. Envision the set, complete with props and furniture. Now, it's important to determine all the entrances and exits. This should be rather easy. Next, read through the script and underline actions when the actual text that is spoken by the character. It is important if Billy says, stop jumping, and that John was previously jumping and not just standing there. These can be at times overlooked but are important to find. Fourth, determine the purpose of the action within the scene. Is the action there to advance the plot, further our understanding, debate a point of view, create atmosphere, provide a diversion, or more than one of the above? Now, the next thing you want to do is try to find the climax of the scene. If you understand the purpose of the scene, the key moment or climax should be obvious. Look to see who has the focus. Use this to figure out where it is most important for that character to be, center stage, sitting, or standing at the key moment. Then place the other characters in what you consider the best relationship to the focal character. This is where it's important to get inside the head of the characters to understand what the relationships would be like. Trust your own instincts. Too much analyzing will only stifle your creative juices. Take a break and come back to look at what you have done. Don't try to block too much at one setting. Allow your mind to rejuvenate for a fresh perspective. Also, don't worry about blocking every moment in each scene. You create the structure and then allow the actors some improvisation once they are in rehearsal. Now, the second phase. Before you start blocking, go to your rehearsal space and place tape on the floor to represent where the furniture or props go. Find substitute props for any kind of thing you're working with, whether it's crates, chairs, tubs, benches, whatever you can find to simulate the furniture that you're going to be using. These don't have to be actual size, but get them approximate size so the actors aren't thrown off when you get the real props in there. Begin your first rehearsal by going over the stage design and props. Make sure the actors are aware of the height, size, shape, and stability of the object so they know what they can sit on, lean on, stand on, or whatever they need to do on. Make sure each actor has a pencil to take notes of where to move, stand, sit, etc. Any kind of notes you're going to give them. Make sure the actors write them down. I encourage all the actors in my shows to keep a journal or a notebook with them. And in that notebook, they're to write the blocking I give them. They're to write the notes that I give them. They're to keep a character journal where they write like a diary in first person from their character's perspective. I believe these are helpful hints that will help you help the actors prepare for the role better. Now go slowly so they can write all these down. Often, 2 pages is a good amount to cover at one time before asking them to try it. What that means is go over 2 pages of blocking and then have them try it and then go on to the next part. Also, watch the actors. See how natural or unnatural the pre-blocking seems. Now, you can get a lot of inspiration by watching them to finish some of the blocking. Now, let's move on to phase 3. This is the fine-tuning phase. This is the remainder of the rehearsal process. Each time you rehearse a scene, you may need to redefine a movement or tune it slightly. This is the natural development of a show. When this occurs, it becomes more obvious that the director and actors are becoming more familiar with the script. This is a gestation period. Blocking may change. Be open and receptive to this fact. Don't feel tied down. Don't feel married to the blocking that you have, but let it grow, let it develop, because the actors may come up with something that works a little better, or you may see something that's different, but just be comfortable in your own confidence and be comfortable with your overall vision of the show so that you can know exactly what's happening on stage. Also, it's important to remember to continue to ask questions that encourage actors to use their own instinct and respond in character. Here's some helpful tips for it. Compliment. When an actor makes a bold choice or tries something new and you like it, yell out good or yes. Don't stop the scene, but encourage the actor to continue. Let them see your enthusiasm about them making positive choices. This will reinforce their behavior and cause them to be more confident and to grow in that confidence and then make bolder choices and bigger choices as the rehearsal process goes on. After a few times they realize you aren't stopping the scene, they're only showing your approval. They'll feel more confident in that. Now, the next one is challenge. When an actor freezes, can't find a line or their motivation, or they just kind of stop on stage, ask probing questions to guide him or her in the correct direction. For example, you told me that your character was ADD, but he hasn't moved at all. What do you think your character would be doing if you were trapped right now? Take their own words that they have given in the scene and in the script, and something maybe they've told you in character analysis, and use those to kind of help them lead in questions and kind of help them understand what the character is about a little bit more. And the next one, comment. At times, an actor will move because his or her own intentions instead of the character's. When this happens, it is important to stop the scene and to comment. For example, it weakens your character to sit here. Or try sitting on the next line instead. Find ways to stop the scene if you need to and comment about what they're doing on stage. If they do something wrong, at the beginning of rehearsal time, just stop and make a short comment and help them out and get out of that problem. Now, the next area we want to look at is called objectives and wants. Wants, 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 wants. Wants are what creates drama. Acting operates on a system of wants or objectives. There are basically two types, and one needs to be thrown away. For example, Bill may want a motorboat, a wife, a peace of mind, but these are just nouns. In another category, Bill may want to earn money to buy a boat, want to win Sally's heart to finally eliminate the distractions of his peace of mind. These are the wants. Earn, win, eliminate. It is important to focus on these, the verbs and the wants. Remember, Bill never wants nouns, but he wants verbs. The behavior of an individual is caused by what he or she wants. Motivations are created by the objectives. It is important to understand that the objective, what is wanted, is what causes the actor to move. That is the reason they're moving on stage, going and doing what they're doing on stage. In other words, put meaning behind your blocking, positioning, and directions. Don't just have them move for the sake of moving because you think they've been standing there too long. No, that's blocking and not really directing. You want to direct. You want to put yourself in a place of an actor and say, I want your motivation to go this way. I want your objective to be here. And let them help you on that journey and help you on that discovery, and they will find a place, and it'll make the scene a lot more powerful. Not only will it help the actors relate to the role, but it will also be true to the script and be more believable to the audience. Okay, now we're going to show you just a basic scene with some basic blocking. We're not going to do the whole scene for you, but we're just going to do the first part of it to show you the difference between just some basic blocking and then blocking with more objectives and more motivation inside of it, okay? So here we go.
Why am I late? Again. Oh, why am I late? God and his burning bushes. She'll never believe that. Something she'll believe. A tremendous sea. Zop, zop. I had to cross it, and I took my staff. And like I said, I had to get across. So I smote that sea. Smote it good. Smote it real good. No, how lame. I was consumed of a great thirst, and there was a rock, and I was thirsty, and I smote the rock, and smote it good, smote it real good, and water poured forth, clean, pure water. That's ridiculous. There was a tremendous pebble stuck in my sandal, hindering me for 3 days, and with all of my might I took my staff, no, my rod, no, my staff, and I smote it, yes, smote it real good, and that's why I'm late.
Moses, is that you?
Precious Zop Zop, yes, I've returned.
You only say zap zap when you've done something. And why are you late? Did you kill another mindless Egyptian?
No, why would I kill another Egyptian?
Then why are you late? 3 days, Moses, 3 days. This is the 4th time this month.
There was a rock, and a big rock, and I grabbed my staff, my wooden one, and I raised my staff to the glorious heavens, the beautiful heavens, and I smote it, and I parted that rock with my staff. A simple smoting. The 2 halves fell on my feet, and I could not move. I was hungry, so I ate the rock for 3 days. Yes, I ate the rock for 3 days.
I'm tired of your excuses.
There was a bird, a big black one.
Moses, is there someone else?
Kind of.
Do I know this person?
Kind of.
Do you talk to this person a lot?
Kind of.
What?
I listen, mostly.
Moses, I hardly know you anymore. Out with it. I deserve the truth.
The truth? You can't handle the truth.
The truth shall set you free, Moses.
That's catchy. I'm going to write that down.
Okay, good. Now what we want to do, guys, Eric and Cassie, is find out a little bit more about your objectives, what you want on stage, okay? You guys did a good job with it, has some good stuff. But Moses, particularly in this first speech, what would you say your main objective is? What are you trying to do?
I need to find a reason for being late, and I'm coming up with whatever I can.
Okay, so what do you want?
I want to convince her that I'm late for a good reason.
Okay, you want to convince her you're late for a good reason. Okay, so you're formulating these ideas, you're formulating excuses. Keep that in mind that you want to convince her, okay? That you know, why do you want to do that? What's going to be the thing that is motivating you to do that, to want to convince her?
Because I have an extraordinary thing to tell her, and I need to find a good way to do that.
So your motivation is because you have a good story? That's why you want to convince her?
Because I have an outrageous story I don't think she's going to believe. But
Okay.
I need to...
So why are you coming up with a story?
Because I don't think God's directions, if I just tell them flat out, that she's going to believe.
Okay. So it really has nothing to do with her reaction to you, but it's simply you have a good story to tell?
Well, also paired with the fact that I usually have crazy
Okay,
stories.
right. Now, a lot of times in scenes, there'll be some, you got to think of the history of where it's coming on. Now, you'll find in the script, if you analyze the script, that she says, you're late again. Moses, you're late again. So that means he's been late before, and she's upset with him about that. So Moses knows that when he comes down, he's got to have a great excuse or she's going to be mad. Is that what basically you're saying?
Right.
Okay. Now, keeping that in mind, that you don't want to get in trouble, all right? You just don't want, and so you're going to try to convince her. These are your words. You don't want to get in trouble. You're going to try to convince her with a great story so that she sees the smoke and mirrors and won't be focused on you, okay? So keep that in mind. We're going to do that again in a minute. Now, we come in, and what is your first line? What is your first line?
Moses, is that you?
Moses, is that you? What are you trying to get there? What's your basic objective there?
Maybe making him feel guilty for being late.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good choice. It's a good choice. You're wanting to make him feel guilty. Now, what in the line says that you're wanting to make him feel guilty?
Kind of the, is that you, kind of implying an underlying, is that you, it better be you. I've been
Okay.
waiting for you.
So you're not wanting to just find out if that's him, but you're wanting to make him feel guilty, or do you think maybe it's both of them? Which one?
Both of them.
Okay, you sure? Okay, so what I want to show you is there's something as simple as wanting to know if somebody's there. That's their objective. Objectives can be very simple, but yet they can be very complex, like Moses has in the first one. Like he's wanting to stay out of trouble, which is a very complex one. And basically, Zipporah here is wanting to find out if that's Moses, and then her second objective within that line is to make him feel guilty about it. Okay, so we keep going through the scene, and you say, I've returned, right? Now, what is your objective here? Now, how you feel? What do you want by this next line?
I want to know why he's late.
Okay, you just want to know why he's late. So keeping that in mind, keeping these objectives in mind, you ask, did you kill another mindless Egyptian? All right? So now you're past the storytelling. What's happening in your mind there?
Well, I have to convince her even further because she's using little guilt things.
Okay.
Another mindless Egyptian is kind of a cheap shot.
Right, she's throwing up your past.
Yeah.
And how many times have you had somebody do that and it just bugs you? You know?
Quite a bit,
So
especially
this,
her.
yeah, this goes back to also is getting the actors to find some emotional recall in their parts. Is finding a place from their past that they can connect with their future and connect with the present situation and make it a little bit more believable. Eric maybe has had a time in his life where he has had somebody throw up his past to him. Okay? Now Eric is going to react honestly with that in mind of saying, hey, back off, whatever it is. Okay? So keeping that in mind. Now there was one little part I wanted to look at. Moses here. No, why would I kill another Egyptian? You come up with your thing. Your objective here is what? You keep questioning him. What are you trying to do?
Trying to find out what's really going on.
Okay, trying to find out what's really going on. Good. Now, you have the story you're going to tell. Okay? You had some problems with the blocking here. It was stuck behind the desk. Yep. You've got all this area down here, all this area down here. Bring it back down here. Make it real big. Make it, you're wanting to get away from her because maybe she's going to figure out the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you come out of here, then maybe if you make it big enough, because that's what you just said earlier, is the smoke and mirrors. If you make it big enough, then maybe she'll just be impressed by the outrageous story and won't focus on you. Okay? So keeping that in mind with that, make it big. I'm tired of your excuses. What are you wanting there?
I'm tired of his excuses. I want him to change.
Okay, you want him to change. You want him just to become a different person. Good. Next, you begin a line of questioning, Zipporah, where is there someone else? What are you doing there?
Trying to find out if there's somebody else.
Yeah, and that's basic, but let's look a little bit more into that. What causes you? What is the reaction? What is the motivation for that?
I'm beginning not to trust him.
Okay, why?
Because he's always late and he's always giving me these stories.
Okay, so you feel maybe he's been unfaithful. Okay, play that. Okay. Keeping that objective in mind. So then you go to the end of the scene that we worked on, okay? Now let's see that again with these objectives in mind and keeping these things in mind, Eric and Cassie, of what you want in the moment, what you're trying to feel, what you're trying to get. You're trying to get a response out of him. He's trying to get a response out of you, and you do this through your objectives and your tactics, okay? All right, let's look at it again.
Why am I late? Again, why am I late? God in his burning bushes, she'll never believe that. Something she'll believe. A tremendous sea. Zop, zop. I had to cross it, and I took my staff, and like I said, I had to get across, so I smote the sea. Smote it good, smote it real good. No, how lame. I was consumed in a great thirst, and there was a rock, and I was thirsty, and I smote the rock. Smote it good, smote it real good. And water poured forth, clean, pure water. That's ridiculous. There was a tremendous pebble stuck in my shoe, hindering me for 3 days. And with all of my might, I took my staff, my staff, and smote it, yes, smote it. And that's why I'm late.
Moses? Is that you?
Oh, precious Zop Zop. Yes, I've returned.
You only say zap zap when you've done something. And why are you late? Did you kill another mindless Egyptian?
No. Why would I kill another Egyptian?
Then why are you late? 3 days, Moses. 3 days late. This is the 4th time this month.
There was a rock. A big rock. So I grabbed my staff, my wooden one, and I raised the staff to the glorious heavens, the beautiful heavens, and I smote it, and I parted that rock with my staff, a simple smoting. The 2 halves fell on my feet, and I could not move, and I was hungry, so I ate the rock for 3 days. Yes, I ate the rock for 3 days.
I'm tired of your excuses.
There was a bird, a big black one.
Moses, there's someone else.
Kind of.
Do I know this person?
Kind of.
Do you talk to this person a lot?
Kind of.
What?
I listen, mostly.
Moses, I hardly know you anymore. Out with it. I deserve the truth.
The truth? You can't handle the truth.
The truth shall set you free, Moses.
That's catchy. I'm going to write that down.
Okay, good. Now, you see how much better it was the second time? It was a lot more believable.